All right, this is a lesson on 3MD7C, and it's basically about using a model to prove the area. So, for example, this was the problem. A rectangle is 11 feet long by 2 feet wide. If 2 feet are removed from the length of the rectangle, what would be the area in square feet of the new rectangle? Well, usually in math, you always read each sentence, and each sentence usually tells you something to do, like a direction. So it says a rectangle is 11 feet long and by 2 feet wide. So what I did, I drew this picture and I double checked. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 feet wide and 11 feet long and 2 feet wide. Okay, so I drew basically the first sentence. Then the second sentence says, if 2 feet are removed from the length, so I know the length is always the long side, so if 2 feet are removed. So remember, this is the length. Okay, so I want to remove 2 from here. If 2 feet are removed from the length of the rectangle, what would be the area? Okay, so here's my new rectangle. The old one looked like this, and I just removed 2 from the length. Okay, so now I have this, and now I could figure it out just by counting the square units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So if I just use the model, I would know it was the answer. I'm going to put it down here is 18. This one doesn't work. 18, and you have to use the units, which are squares, but they're saying that they're square feet. Now they're obviously not to scale, so this would be the answer. Now, what if you didn't do it with a model? So that was so easy, right? Let's see what it would have looked like if you just drew a model that wasn't so detailed. So I know it was 11 feet long and 2 feet wide, okay? And then they'd said if 2 feet are removed from the length, so I'd say 11, 10, 9. So I now know this one would be 9. Okay, 9. And this would remain the same too. Okay. And then it says what would be the area. So I'd think of my song, perimeter plus it's the frame of the window. Area is squares, don't have squares, or length times width. Oh, I could just do, I know area is the squares, or I could find area by doing length times width. So I know the length here is 9, and the width is 2. And if I just multiply these two, I get 18, which is the same answer. Of course, it's 18 square feet. Because if I drew the squares, it would turn out to be 18 too. And I could do that for you by doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. So let's see if I did that. So I did 8 lines because it's always one less when you're drawing the lines. Let's see if I did it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then there's 2 this way. And if I count up the squares, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So I get the same thing. So I hope that makes sense. Now I'll go to the next question. The next question is frighteningly long. Okay? So when they're frighteningly long like this, you want to try to figure out what the question is asking. So Anara is trying to find the area of her room. So this would be her room. She decides to divide it into 2 sections. Okay, she's got a pink section and a green section. Which expression below represents the area of the 2 sections? Now, before I do this, I'll note that it says which expression. That is singular. That's not plural. So there's only one answer down here that's going to be correct. That should make it a lot easier. But to me, this is frightening. So what I would do is on a separate piece of paper, so let's just pretend. All right. So I just gave myself a little bit more room because the other, when it was on here, it just didn't seem to have enough room. So here we go. So I know I need to find the length of the green rectangle. So I'm going to do the longest side for the length. So hop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This length is 7 and the width is hop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if I wanted to find the measurements of the pink rectangle, I would just find the longest side length. So hop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Of course that's going to be the same because they're the same. Okay. But this width should be a little different. Hop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right. Now I might just want to know how many squares there are all together. So I would just use my skip counting song, and since the columns are the same, I would just count by sevens. 7, 14, 21 and 28, 35, 42 and 49, 56, 63, my. Now we got to 70, and then 70 plus 7 would be 77. So my area should be 77. So let's check. So A says, oh look, the longest side is 7 times 5. So that looks like the green box. And then 7 times 6 looks like the pink box. And let's see if these, when I add them together, first I'm going to multiply 7 times 6. 7 times 5 is 35. And then I'm going to do 7 times 6 is 42. And then if I add these up, 35 plus 42, I get 77. So I know this one's right. Now I want to double check the rest of them just to make sure I'm choosing the correct answer. So this one, it doesn't look like 11 times 5 or 11 times 6. Let's just check. This would be 11 times 5 is 55. These are plus. And 11 times 6 is 66. And if I add these together, that would be 121. That is definitely wrong because I know there's 77 squares. Let's check this. This one looks wrong too. I don't see any 11 length or anything, but let's just do this. 11 times 4 is 44. And if I add that to 11 times 3, which is 33, this looks like 77. But if I go back to the original question, it says which expression below represents the area of the two sections. Well, it says which expression, which means there's not two this time. There's only going to be one answer. And this doesn't represent the two boxes because this is not length 11 and this is not the length 11 and that's not a 3 or 4. So this one has the correct square, square units, but it's not the correct measurements for length and width. So this one, even though it has the correct number of squares, it's not the right answer. Now let's check this one. 7 times 11 is 77. And 11 times 7 is 77. Now this obviously doesn't add up to 77 because we have two 77s. I like doing it. So I proved by doing this that A is definitely the correct answer. One, not only does it have the squares that I need, the square units. I should put square units. Okay, it has the square units, the 77 square units, but it also has the correct length and width for each box.